And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Wednesday, February 8th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down a 9-game NBA slate for you guys tonight, coming off the heels of LeBron James breaking the scoring record in the NBA, a record he had already held if we count playoff stats, which we should. Why wouldn't we include the most important games of anyone's career? Let's shoo those away as if they don't matter. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Good morning, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We got what we needed yesterday out of LeBron James. He is the new all-time scorer in the NBA. No one's surprised. He was obviously going to get it. I'm happy that it's just gone now and that we don't hold this out until their next game. Kudos to the man that I believe is the greatest basketball player that I've ever seen play. And I think it's difficult to say that he's not the first pick if you're trying to take a career. If you know that you can get 20 years of LeBron plus whatever we're about to get, you take that. It's just too much playing time. He's just there and available so much. And that availability is really what does it for me. You want to take the peak of Michael Jordan? I get it. I watched it happen as a child, particularly the second set of three. You never thought he was going to lose. It was great. You want to take that peak? I get it. I get it. I can't just look at the 6 rings, though, because that can't be the argument. Because if that's the argument, then you got to be like, well, why isn't it Bill Russell? So that's where it starts to get squirrely. It's really awesome to see. He and I are the same age. He's like 2 months, a little over 2 months, or a little under 2 months, something like that, older than me, but same class. Watched it happen from the jump. It's really, really cool to see. Just knowing what he came from, knowing that he was perfectly set up to fail over and over and over again. I mean, the mid 90s to early 2000s are littered with high school basketball prospects that couldn't make it and wilted under the pressure of money and fame. And he did the exact opposite there. No matter what we want to think about him now, to avoid everything in an era where your entire life is on display is, up to this point, incredible to see. It's incredible to see. Look, I agree. 6 finals MVP. That's not as good as Bill Russell. That can't be the tent pole for Michael Jordan. But I don't mind. I cannot judge people by just simply by only getting a win. 9 straight finals is a run that I don't. It's so mind-boggling to think about in an era of free agency and team turnover the way that we see it now. In an era where, contracts are so very different and keeping teams together so very different, that he was able to do 9 straight finals across 2 separate teams, to go to the finals, then go to Miami for multiple straight years to the finals, and then go back to Cleveland and go on that run to be able to go multiple times again for Cleveland, running into arguably the greatest team that ever existed. It's a run that, we're not going to appreciate that stretch of time in his career from Miami through Cleveland. We're never going to appreciate that correctly because that is staggering. It's not just, it's Olympics too. I mean, this dude was playing every single game basically that he could possibly play for the most part. This was not a guy, there was not a lot of load management for LeBron, really. He had that one Cleveland season where he went away for 2 weeks. But we're talking about 9 straight years of playing as much basketball as possible. Full regular season, full playoffs through the finals, Olympic training in the off season or Olympics just in general, over and over and over again. And I don't mean to be exceptionally disparaging when this comes out of my mouth, but he didn't need to take 18 months off to do whatever it is to stop that. And then he didn't need to retire a second time during that. He did that straight through for an era that, like, I don't think we're going to appreciate how much he was on a basketball court. I hate saying it like that about Jordan, but like, that dude had to get away. He had to get away twice. He had to get away twice. And we don't pay a close enough attention to that. But what a career. You know, I hope that nothing ever negative really comes out, because just seeing it go from having literally nothing to being graced on the cover of Sports Illustrated and checking off every single milestone that you could check off. I mean, it's really fun to see. It's an honor to see something like that, to see someone to have so much expectation and pressure and to thrive in that expectation and pressure. That's how diamonds are made. Pressure and time, guys. He bounced from teams to chase rings. Everybody did. I mean, obviously you're going to tell me that Michael Jordan didn't, but this was not. I guess he started it, is what everybody thinks. It's not true. It happened the whole way. It happened the whole way. But yeah, you should want to. You should want to chase rings. And to be fair, like, we can say chase rings all we want. And going back to Cleveland was definitely great. But we said this yesterday. To think that someone, first of all, it's lunacy to think that just because someone is drafted somewhere, they should play their entire career in that city. That's just, imagine thinking that's how your job worked. Oh, well, I work here, so I guess I'm never going to change my company again. No, he's a free agent leaving Cleveland. And he decided at the top of his powers, at the top of his fame, to go play in Miami instead of Cleveland for a couple years with his friends. Can we act like every single person on the planet wouldn't make the exact same decision? Or at least should make the exact same decision? Should I go to, look, I don't care what you guys think, Cleveland fans. Should I go to the significantly better place, the significantly nicer place, to be more comfortable, first of all, and again, this is a guy that had nothing ever, gets to go live in Miami, gets to go play for Pat Riley, gets to go spend a couple years with Chris Bosh, with Dwayne Wade. Unequivocal. Everyone should be doing that move. He goes back to Cleveland. He takes them to multiple finals. He gets them the ring. I mean, did he chase rings? Yeah. Did he chase them in the best way possible? Yeah, he did. Find me someone that thinks that he shouldn't have gone to Miami and that he's somehow a worse off person for going back to Cleveland. Cleveland is on the water. Yeah, dirty water. All right, that's enough on LeBron. I had to get some out there, but it's been amazing to see. I've never seen a basketball player take over a game like LeBron James. Regardless of what we're saying about Michael Jordan, because he was obviously the penultimate winner. I've never seen anybody physically take over a game that looked like LeBron James. Like, we saw it with Shaq, but nobody looked at Shaq during a basketball game and was like, oh, I can't believe he's doing that. Like, you knew from the jump that Shaq was going to be a physical thing over people. LeBron slowly became that, but even just seeing him play in high school, man among boys, it's like that Zion with the tiny little white kid trying to guard him, and Zion's just dismissive. Like, that's how I felt LeBron's life was for like 15 years. It's good to see. Let's get into this slate, folks. I got some coffee to drink. So we got that here. I hope you guys have some coffee. We're here to rise and grind. That much we know. Cheers to all of you. We got 9 games to break down. We're going to be here for a while. But for now, let's get it started. Bang. First sip. Okay. We're getting there. Figuring out the ratios. That's going to work. Thaddeus Brown, I agree. And shout out to BetMGM for being the sponsor. We'll talk about them in a little bit when we want to run some crunches, but you can get a month behind the paywall plus up to $1,000 in first bet insurance if you click that link in the description. Which creamer today? Brown sugar oat milk. All righty, here we go. 85 people in here. Again, don't forget to hit that like button. We are starting it off. Detroit Pistons, 12.5-point dogs in Cleveland. That's a 222 total for Detroit. Let's see. They got beat by 12 against Boston 2 nights ago. And we got the beef stew Jalen Duren starting lineup, which is good to see. Well, it's not good to see, but we know that we saw it. I got 28 in for beef stew, which I think feels about realistic. We didn't have any foul trouble on Jalen Duren. Duren didn't close. They closed with Bay over Duren, which I think is interesting. I think 29 for Duren, 28 for Isaiah Stewart feels about right. I might make it 28 for Duren. I'll try to be pretty hyper realistic here. I'm going to go 28-28 for those guys. I got 27 in for Alec Burks. That didn't happen. Now Alec Burks is starting but not closing. They closed with Killian Hayes over Burks. So we're going to go 25-23. Did those guys play alongside of each other at all? Hayes 32. Yes, they did. They played like 3 minutes alongside of each other because we got pretty sizable time there out of Killian Hayes. Hayes played 32 minutes off the bench. What do we got going on here? All right, so 29 minutes for Ivy. I feel fine there. Sadiq Bey still got the 30. I think 29 makes the most sense. They didn't play Kevin Knox. That's interesting to see. Amadou Diallo seems to be good around 19. Isaiah Livers seems to be good around 17. I'm going to take him up to 19 as well. Boyan, 33 seems fine. So now this is where I've got 5 minutes left over that are going to stay with Kevin Knox because this game is gross. I don't have any rates that I need to change here for this Pistons team. I can't imagine they're going to look all that good. 222 total. It's the second lowest on the slate. We know Cleveland is a great defensive team. This is just going to look really bad for the Pistons. Yeah, Mark, I think that's going to be pretty commonplace. This Pistons team sucks. They're going to be behind needing scoring pretty regularly. If it were up to me, I'd play the guy that's actually decent at offense in Alec Burks and not Killian Hayes, but what do I know? For Cleveland, everybody's available, so we got to get Ricky Rubio back in the rotation. We saw another no Kevin Love game, which means probably going to be traded, if I had to guess, in the next 2 days. We'll keep an eye on it at least. We got Ricky Rubio back out there. Now, he's been playing a little bit more. So I'm going to give him 18 minutes. I need to free up those minutes, though, from somewhere. Garland for 34, Mitchell for 34. I'm okay with both of those. Jared Allen in for 33. I could probably bump that to 34, but I get him enough. So we're going to keep him there. We'll keep Mobley at, oh, man. Jared Allen playing more than Mobley as of late. Should they both be 33? They should both be 33. 33 apiece on Allen and Mobley. I got 20 to Dean Wade. That looks fine. 18 to Chetty. That's where the minutes can come from. Chetty down. Wade at 20. Okoro at 26. And we are done with Cleveland. Game 1. Ooh, I got to make a change quick. Ooh. 9 and 9. All right. If you're going to anything here from Cleveland, It's probably either Jared Allen or Donovan Mitchell. That $8,500 tag on Mitchell works. I don't really think that anything looks amazing, but Allen and Mitchell are my two preferred options. I don't think they'll rank super high. On the Pistons side, I don't really recommend playing anybody. I don't think that anything grades out well at all for today. And we got 9 games. So if we don't see it as like a key standout, it's not worth talking about. Charlotte Hornets are next up. 4.5-point underdogs in Washington, 235 total. This is the second highest total on the slate for today. As we look at Charlotte, still no Kelly Oubre, no Cody Martin. So this is pretty standard Charlotte rotation. Not much to write home about here. Now, Gordon Hayward didn't play the last... Wait, I thought Gordon Hayward was out for a game. Did Gordon Hayward not sit recently? Did he end up playing on... So was it the back-to-back? It must have been the Friday back... No, because did they play early on Sunday? I don't know how I have it projected like this, but I got to get Gordon Hayward back in. Maybe he was supposed to not play the back-to-back Friday, and then I didn't play the slate. That makes the most sense to me. Anyway, LaMelo Ball is playing massive minutes. Over the past 6 games, LaMelo Ball is averaging 38 minutes a game. Now, we're not going to go to that extent, but this one should be competitive. So 37 for LaMelo straight away. Very easy to project. At the very least, Dennis Smith Jr. will get the backup point guard run. As technically speaking, I want to get him in for 20, which bumps 9 minutes off of LaMelo to the 2, because LaMelo is just, he's basically a 3 or a 4. We'll get Mason Plumlee good to go out there for his 30, and that'll let Mark Williams be the backup. We get PJ Washington in for his 34. JT Thor will get some sort of backup run. Terry Rozier kind of just plays 36 minutes a night like clockwork. Silent Assassin. He was named out and then played. Okay, perfect. That's all I needed to hear, guys. Obviously, I don't pay close attention to the news items that pop up for every single person. You kind of learn it as you go, and that's one that definitely slipped through the cracks for me. Jalen McDaniels and Gordon Hayward seem to be playing about 26 minutes a game, but it looks like we're going to be ramping Gordon Hayward up. So I'm going to go to 29 on Hayward. JT Thor is going to play some amount of basketball. I guess Gordon Hayward is also going to drop down those 3 minutes. If I get McDaniels there in for 22, plus another 4, that lets me get JT Thor for 10. That's perfect. Rates all stay the same. I still have everybody in that I need to have in, so that's going to be Charlotte. Actually, I feel like those rates aren't correct. Is LaMelo at 30% usage? I feel like I made a change here, but I didn't make the right change. So if we do Rozier starting, Hayward starting, LaMelo starting, and then we say Kelly Oubre off, is LaMelo at 30? Is Terry Rozier at 24? Because that's really all that matters. If I get those two guys right, nobody else is going to have any usage. 29.5 for LaMelo in 411 minutes. We'll bring that down a notch. Terry Rozier's at 23.7. We leave that at 24. Gordon Hayward is at 18.5. Okay, so rates are correct for right now. Thought so. Actually. Yep, rates are good. Then we go to Washington, a team I definitely don't want to talk about. Very annoying team. Q-tag on Bradley Beal, Q-tag on Kyle Kuzma. Gafford is available. Now, this Washington team, we saw no Kuzma and no Beal on Monday. We also saw Kuzma leave early on Saturday. We have to project everybody in for right now. Potential value to open up here on Denny or Kispert as we move forward. But for now, we're going to go to Monty Morris in for 27 minutes. Get DeLon Wright in for 21. We'll get Bradley Beal in for 32. We'll get Daniel Gafford in for 26. Gets Porzingis in for the other 22. Plus we get Porzingis up to 32. I don't feel comfortable going to 34 on Porzingis. Just doesn't have that sort of ability right now. We're going to get Kyle Kuzma back in for what? 34, 35? 35 seems about right. And then we need to fill out with the rest of these guys. So that's going to be Denny going in for 27. We're going to get Corey Kispert. Assuming Beal is in, Kispert seems like pretty good for 24 minutes. That leaves me 16 for Kendrick Nunn. 9-man rotation. Okie doke. And we're good to go. Now, we do need to grab rates for Washington because obviously when Beal and Kuzma don't play, it's a slightly different team. And who the hell knows if they play for today. So let's say in games where Beal starts, Porzingis starts, and Kuzma starts with Rui Hachimura off the floor. Yeah, Eric, I don't know. I mean, I think Gafford plays about as much as he can play. I don't think you want Daniel Gafford playing much more than like 24 minutes. He's a completely functional center, but he's in the right role. All righty, let's grab these rates. Pretty easy to handle here. Bradley Beal, 27.5% usage rate. Daniel Gafford, 15. Denny Avdia, 16 and change. Staffs Porzingis, I believe, is the exact same as Beal, or at least close to it. Wait, I went 27.5. Oh, okay, that is actually right. Porzingis is at 26.7. We'll go to 27. We'll go to Kuzma is at 26.3. We'll go 26.5. And then Monty Morris is at 13.5. Eric, that one, Daniel Gafford can't play 35 minutes a game regularly. 2, you don't want Daniel Gafford to play 35 minutes regularly. But 3, do you know how many centers play 35 minutes a game? It's probably 1. There's a decent chance it's 2. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. That's not a thing. If Daniel Gafford were playing 35 minutes for the Wizards, he'd be on the All-NBA team. How many people are even playing that many minutes this year? Player stats per game. All right. There's 31 guys in the NBA that play 34 and a half minutes or more. The ones that play center are Bam Adebayo. Joel Embiid rounds up to 35. He's at 34.7. Technically, Basketball Reference lists Siakam as a center, but we're talking about a power forward center there. Otherwise, that is just not how that's done. Sabonis is just on the outside looking in. Vooch is on the outside of it. Jokic is on the outside of it. But I don't think we need to advocate for 35 minutes out of Daniel Gafford. I think that's going to go pretty poorly. I think 26 is about as many minutes as Daniel Gafford should play in a basketball game. I think that is allocated perfectly. You probably don't need the, 30th best center to be playing massive minutes. Bradley Beal getting any assists? No. Monty Morris comes down, right? No, it goes way up. Way up. Got it. Rebounding, I just need to make sure I got right for Kuz, which I do. So I think we're good on Washington. And remember, great matchup for Washington, but if you're going to anything here, assuming everybody's in, Kyle Kuzma would be the guy that stands out most to me. Take a shot on Daniel Gafford in 26 minutes if you want. That'll be fine. Bradley Beal's okay at 7,400. Dr. DFS, glad you're here. Yeah, look, the LBJ career has been, look, social media and regular media has made it so easy to cover a basketball player. Like, internationally, you just know so much more. It's part of the reason why Kyrie is so popular. All right, here we go. Game 3. Philadelphia 76ers at the Boston Celtics. Please give me full-strength teams here. I would like to watch this one. Q-tag on Embiid. So, you know, we're well aware of what we're doing there. Boston, everybody's in except for Marcus Smart. So we're getting something approximating a really amazing game. As we look at Philly, probably not too many changes here to make. We got the 30 minutes in for Maxey. Probably need to bump Melton a little bit. 34 for Embiid. I got 35 for Harden. Now, this is the type of game where all these guys should probably play an extra minute. So we're going to pull those minutes from Matisse Thybulle for a second. We got Harrison for 33. I'm taking Harden to 36. I'm for sure taking DeAnthony Melton to 26. I think Harris, we definitely can take Shake Milton's minutes down to get Thybulle out there a bit more. But I want to go to 34 on Harris. I do. 30 for Maxey is fine. This feels like a PJ Tucker game as well because of Jason Tatum. So I'm going to go 25 to Tucker, 14 to Milton, 7 to Thybulle. No, I didn't do Charlotte, Aldo. Thank you. And Silent Assassin. Thank you. For Charlotte, lots of little things. LaMelo is going to be your best option if you could afford him. I assume there's going to be a better pay-up option than LaMelo. Terry Rozier and PJ Washington are both just regular lineup filler. If you want to go to Mark Williams at center, he's 3,300. I understand the play. Nine-game slate. I don't love it. Mason Plumlee doesn't really get into foul trouble all that frequently, so I don't think it's a Mark Williams day. Philly looks set up pretty well here. I know on Boston we're going to have to redo the rotation because Jaylen Brown was out for that most recent game, but otherwise everybody's going to be here for it. So Derek White's just playing massive minutes as of late. I'm going to get him in for 31. And then we're going to let's just get all the biggies in. Jaylen Brown's going straight in for 37. Jason Tatum's going straight in for 38. We're getting Time Lord out there for 29. I'm assuming we still get one rotation out of Luke Cornett. Yeah, Mark, do you know Curry, or do you know Aaron Baines' story? That dude almost died. You should go check that out if you don't know it. Recently, too. We're going to do 31 for Al Horford. Grant Williams, less important, I guess, in this series, although he's probably pretty important on Harden, as weird as that sounds. Those guys are probably way more normally sized to each other. Let's assume Grant Williams gets to like 25. Because this is a real one. We get Malcolm Brogdon out there for 26. Probably should be 27, honestly. Yeah, we'll go 27. That leaves me 12 for Peyton Pritchard. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that rotation. That's good. Boom, done. In Celtics. Now, new rates for the standard issue team of Boston. And Marcus Smart, how many games has he missed at this point? Marcus Smart did not play. And then we'll say that Tatum and Brown started. Was it like 5 games, 6 games? 11 games. Okay. So in those games, we got a little bit more usage going to Jaylen Brown in those games than Tatum. Now, we're not going to project it like that, but we're going to leave Tatum in for his 32. We're going to leave Jaylen Brown in for his 31. We get Al Horford just not participating at all offensively. We get Derek White not really participating in the offense. Malcolm Brogdon certainly does. And then Time Lord is just sort of catching lobs, doing whatever he needs to do. Pretty easy there. Assist rates are what I'm most interested in for this team. Tatum much higher than Brown. That's pretty standard. Looks like Jaylen Brown's probably looking for his own shot a little bit more when Smart's not around, which is not really intuitive. I expect him to want to shoot more when Smart's around because Smart will certainly shoot if he needs to. Bump to assist rate for Malcolm Brogdon, which I think makes sense. Robert Williams is not that kind of guy. And then finally, Horford's rebounding rate is so minuscule playing alongside Robert Williams. That's going to be Boston. So for the Celtics, I think if you're going anywhere, it's Jaylen Brown. 8,700 shooting guard, small forward. Competitive matchup. By all means, get to Jason Tatum if you want, but 11-2 is too expensive. Well, not too expensive. He's about appropriately priced. Robert Williams and Al Horford would be the other two guys that I'm looking at. But Jaylen Brown is the key piece from Boston. And then for Philly, I don't really see it. It's probably Tobias Harris if you're going anywhere. By all means, again, if you want to go to Joel Embiid, go for it. I just think that he and Tatum are going to be pretty hard to get. Game 4. Indiana Pacers at Miami Heat, 223 total. Miami Heat said goodbye to Dwayne Dedmon yesterday in a move that everyone knew was going to happen once the season started. Or actually, the moment he signed his contract. And that did, in fact, happen yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, Pacers. For Indiana, Q-tag on Chris Duarte. Otherwise, everybody else is in, which means this is standard fare. We're going to get Andrew Nembhard out there for 30 minutes. We got Halliburton out there for 34. We got Miles Turner out there for 31. We got Buddy Hield out there for 34. 28 to Mathurin. Yeah. 31 to Neesmith. Go 30. That lets us get O'Shea Brissett to 14. Duarte had not played the previous 2 games. I think he plays at least a little bit today. Pretty easy to project Indiana right now. Not too much to really dig into for the Indiana Pacers. For the Miami Heat, who, if they're ever going to look good, it's going to be today. No Kyle Lowry, no Victor Oladipo, no Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, or Yurtseven. Orlando Robinson is back, so I guess he's going to play through the broken thumb. Jamal Cain is with the G League team. Jamari Bouye has been signed by the Miami Heat. He is certainly not a part of my model at this point in time. If I need to add him in today, I will. I don't know if they're trying to play him or not. He might play today. Jamari Bouye. He's 23. He went to San Francisco for 5 years. Should I know anything about this guy? I don't think so. Let's see if we've got some G League stats. Let's see here now. G League stats for, I mean, his page doesn't even load. Okay, he's played 16 games, 35 minutes a game, shooting 29% from 3, so that's awful. 5 assists per 35 minutes is definitely a stat line. 25% assist rate. Okay. He's 61% true shooting. I don't know. Doesn't seem great. We'll get him in there if we need to. Let's cross that bridge in a second. But first, we know that Kyle Lowry's not going to be there, which means we know that Gabe Vincent is. And if we just simply go to Miami games where Gabe Vincent has started this year, because I think that's going to be a telling sign. He's going to play. This dude plays a ton, generally, when he can. So he started 6 games this year. He's played 211 minutes in those starts. That's 35 a game. So right away, we're going 35 minutes to Gabe Vincent. Actually, we'll go 34. We'll try to be pessimistic. I think we get Tyler Hero unquestionably in for 36. There's a decent chance it should be more. We get Bam straight in for 36. Orlando Robinson backing him up. We're going to get, I mean, I think we have to get 30-something minutes out of Caleb Martin for today. That just feels like a 32 to me. And then Haywood Highsmith, I assume, is going to get a pretty decent chunk of time. We got to get Jimmy Butler out there for the 33 minutes that he plays in basically every matchup. So we're missing Highsmith. We certainly need to get Max Strus some minutes. So there's 26 there. Only guy that we have left that we can give minutes to if we wanted to go to an 8-man rotation would be Haywood Highsmith. Highsmith played 31 minutes with no Lowry, no Oladipo this last time out. I guess we're going to assume they go to an 8-man rotation just like they did on Saturday. And if they do, that's 31 minutes for Highsmith. Now, I can't give Haywood Highsmith 31 minutes. But who am I not giving minutes to that played more? Hero, I guess. Vincent's straight on. Dedmon's correct. Butler is basically correct. I can't give Haywood Highsmith 31 minutes. That will break. I need to give him like 28. And if I do that, I get him to 28. I can just throw 3 minutes onto Udonis Haslem just to hold them right now. They could play this Bouye guy. Who knows? But 4, 5, 6, 7. They've got 8 real guys plus this new guy they signed. And I guess they could dust off Haslem if they had to. Willie K, that's a great point. You also save millions of dollars in taxes. All right. As we look at Miami, we found the spot that we need to play everybody. Bam, Hero, Gabe Vincent, Butler, Haywood Highsmith, Caleb Martin, Max Strus. You're playing all these guys. Now, I do want to grab rates for no Kyle Lowry, but holy hell, are we just jamming in the Miami Heat? Because we already know that going up against Indiana is a great scenario. But in games where Bam starts, Jimmy starts, Tyler Hero starts, I can't say Kyle Lowry did not play in the game because he hasn't missed enough time, but I do got to say Kyle Lowry off. And I'm going to say that at least 2 of those guys are just simply on the floor because they're going to be on the floor a lot. No, that shouldn't be started. That should just be on. Yeah. At least 2 of Butler, Hero, and Bam on with Kyle Lowry off. I think that's the right sample. So we're going to get Bam up to 27% usage. Caleb Martin has actually played quite a bit less with these guys, but we'll get it to 15. Gabe Vincent really just doesn't see much usage playing alongside all these guys, nor does Haywood Highsmith. Again, we shouldn't be surprised by that, especially when these guys are going to play big minutes. Hannah, nice. Good stuff. 9th will work. That's a good ROI. Jimmy Butler's at 25% usage. It's incredible how much that dude just doesn't see his rates move. Tyler Hero is at 25.5. I mean, that's insanity too. So I'm going to keep Bam and Hero at what I have as their normal rates. Or sorry, Hero and Butler rather. Assist rate. Ooh, do I need to take off Oladipo too? I might have to, but that might really shrink this sample. If I take Oladipo off too, that might make a pretty sizable change. 28, 26. I'm going to leave Bam at 27. Butler's oddly enough goes down. That makes no sense. I think we're okay there. Assist rates. Bam doesn't really do anything. Butler sees a bit of an increase. Tyler Hero doesn't really see anything change. I guess Gabe Vincent has to. No, Gabe Vincent's just himself too. So no real changes in the assist package. Bam's more active on the boards. Now, I don't want to go too crazy there because it's a small sample. Tyler Hero's just sort of himself. Jimmy Butler is always himself. That's going to be Miami now with the rate changes. Yeah, you just got to let Miami go crazy. Bam Adebayo, 8,900, is probably going to look like the best center option for today. Hero looks exceptional at 7,500. Jimmy Butler looks exceptional at 8,100. Gabe Vincent is going to be a very, very popular value piece. Caleb Martin and Haywood Highsmith will both get some love. Max Strus will be, at the very least, a very interesting tournament pivot. You have to play 6 of these Miami Heat dudes pretty aggressively. There's not a bad play in the bunch. On the Indiana end of it, you're probably not playing anybody. If you can get the Halliburton, by all means, but like everything on the opposite side looks better. If you're playing a bunch of Miami, like you'll feel better playing Halliburton if you've got 2 of Butler, Bam, and Jimmy. And then you get Neesmith on the opposite side as like an okay $4,300 value. Just play everybody from the Heat. Literally everybody. Except for Orlando Robinson and I think that was it. And Orlando Robinson. That's it. Just don't play him. Game 5. San Antonio Spurs, 10.5-point dogs in Toronto, 234 total. I assume the Spurs are a bunch of Q tags that piss me off. Yep. Q tag Trey Jones. Q tag Keldon Johnson. No Romeo Langford. Jeremy Sohan doubtful. So we have to reproject the Spurs again for the 10th straight day. We get Trey Jones in for 29 minutes. We get, let's work our way right to left now. Jakob Poeltl in for 25. Zach Collins in for 20. 3 minutes to Stanley Johnson, where he gets 18. Assuming we still don't have Sohan, we're going to get like Keita Bates Diop in for 26. Get Keldon Johnson in for his 33. That's usually pretty easy. That lets us get McBuckets in for 20. We can get Josh Richardson in for 25. Malachi Branham gets his start 29, 28. 28, I guess. Ooh, I don't really like that. Leaves me 16 minutes left over for Blake Wesley, I guess. Boom, done. Spurs in. I hate that I even have to pull the rates. It's truly annoying. I hate the Spurs team right now so bad. Eric, what are you trying to say? Wink. So let's say games where Poeltl starts, Trey Jones starts, and Keldon Johnson starts. In games where Devin Vassell does not play. And let's just say Jeremy Sohan off. Why not? How much of a difference does it make? Doug McDermott's played the most of anybody in that range. Of course he has. Jakob Poeltl, normal usage. Jay Rich, normal-ish usage. Keita, Bates, Diop, very different usage. We'll cross that bridge in a second. Keldon Johnson gets a bump. Trey Jones gets a bump. I can't take Keita, Bates, Diop that far up, even though I guess I should. Keita, Bates, Diop, 131 minutes, 20% usage rate. That's just not him. Take him to 18, but that's the best that I can do. Assist rates probably don't move at all. I mean, how do you get an assist when no one can score? Jay Rich gets a bit of a bump. Trey Jones takes a bit of a hit. I think we're going to be good there. A little bit of a rebounding bump to Jakob Poeltl. That's going to be the Spurs. And I really just don't think the Spurs are going to look all that great with everybody in. By the way, 140 likes, or sorry, 140 people in here. Let's hit that like button if we can, folks. Would be very helpful to me. We go to Toronto now. No OG Anunoby. Otherwise, it's the same rotation we've been getting. We did see Christian Koloko leave the rotation once again. Today's the day that they should play him a bunch. They went back to Thad Young on Sunday. I'm just going to take Koloko's minutes, give them to Thad. We're going to bump up Chris Boucher's minutes by 2, get him to 22. Malachi Flynn played a little bit more than you would have expected for the past couple of games, so let's give him a little bit of a bump. We got 38 for Van Vliet, 37 for Trent, 38 for Siakam, 38 for Scotty Barnes. All that seemed fine. 30 for Precious. Let's get Thad Young. We got Thad Young in for 16. I think that's okay. And I'm going to take those Delano Banton minutes, make him Christian Koloko because it's this kind of game. No rate changes. Toronto's easy. T. McBee in the house. And look, we love Toronto today, which is no surprise, but we need those minutes. We need those minutes. Van Vliet, Siakam, Barnes, Trent, Achua, Boucher. You're playing all these dudes. They kind of look like the Heat. Yeah, Jerome, that's... I mean... Is it why you retired? Is it? Is it? Was it Michael Jordan's fault? That was the rumor when I was a kid. Should I take a minute off of all of these dudes? That's the question. Should every one of these starters lose a minute because they play the Spurs? I'm going to say yes. We're going to go 37 Van Vliet, 36 Trent, 37 Barnes, 37 Siakam. I think I could leave 30 on Precious Achua. And I'm going to take those extra 4 minutes and just put them on Christian Koloko for right now. Yeah, so now I think that's more realistic because this is a 10-point line. Like we shouldn't. There's a bigger chunk of time where this isn't competitive and they can get a little bit of rest. And I think all 5 of the starters look very, very similar. So rotate through 2 or 3 of them in each lineup and feel good about it. On the San Antonio side, Keldon Johnson and Trey Jones are the only 2 guys you can play if they're in. It's the second biggest line on the slate behind the Pistons and Cavs. Sacramento Kings, 7.5-point favorites in Houston, 241 total. Now, I got a ton of Alper and Şengün in this matchup 2 nights ago. I'm probably going to end up having to do that again, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. Kessler Edwards, obviously, on his way to Sacramento. Thought the trade with the Nets was going to be some sort of package for KD. Obviously, that would be basically impossible for Sacramento. They would have to include Keegan Murray at a minimum. They don't have enough picks to pull something like that off. So as we look at Sacramento, everybody's in, which means that we're not really making any changes to their rotation. I got 35 minutes in for De'Aaron Fox. I got 34 in for Harrison Barnes, whose minutes have been down the past 2 games now. I assume that's because of the game environment and not for any other reason. On Monday, Sacramento beat the shit out of Houston. And then on Sunday, they got smacked by 30 against New Orleans. So we're going to go ahead and leave him in for 34. You can make a real case that it should be even higher than that. I got Keegan Murray in for 30. That seems right. 29 for Kevin Huerter. Might be a minute too high. We'll take one off. We'll give him 28. And he's just been weird. And then 36 for Sabonis. No changes there for me either. No rate changes for me for Sacramento. If it wasn't for these guys just never having anybody out, they'd be able to look good, but all of their prices are just sort of stabilized. So they end up not being able to look as good as they should. Now for Houston, no Kevin Porter Jr. Otherwise, it's the same team we normally get. I can't imagine I'm making wholesale changes to this rotation. I got Alperen Şengün in for 33 minutes. That's about what he plays. I mean, we got 36. I pushed for Şengün on Monday. He was a massive over for me, and he played 3 more minutes than I would have expected and still didn't hit. It's brutal as a beat. Jalen Green came back, played 33 minutes. I'm going to leave him at that 33-minute mark. You could make a case it should be 34. Eric Gordon in for 32. Seems okay. Kmart in for 31. Seems okay. Jabari Smith in for 30. Seems okay. Bruno Fernando was the backup center, except for the 2.5 minutes of blowout run, at which point they went to Usman Garuba. Tari Eason played his 18 minutes. If Jabari Smith is playing 30, then Tari Eason's just playing the opposite side of that. Tate played 20. We got 16 out of Josh Christopher. I don't see anything else I need to change other than where do those 12 minutes go? They went more to the starters, but they didn't play Nix or Matthews. But they also didn't go to Ty Washington. These guys were playing in 2-4. They were playing a 9-man rotation. But, I can't project Şengün for more. I don't have to worry about the center minutes at all. Jalen Green, who backed up Jalen Green at the point? I guess that's probably Josh Christopher, right? So then we have all these wing minutes. I'm not touching. I guess Jabari Smith and Tari Eason played alongside each other a bit, which is interesting to see. We've seen Jabari Smith play north of 30 minutes in 4 out of his last 5. If I give him 31 minutes, it's actually going to be an issue for me. I'm going to bump him up there. I'm going to give Tari Eason 1 more minute. I don't want to go to 32 on Kmart. I don't want to go higher. I guess I can go to 21 on Jayshawn Tate. That's still 10 more minutes that I don't really have the ability to assign. Assuming this one's competitive, somebody here is going to play. They're going to have to. They're in line to play massive minutes. Yeah, Ross, I loved Reed. I swapped to 30-something%. It was the right play. Even if you didn't think he was going to close at 22 or 24 minutes, Naz Reid was a great value late. Nothing we could do. Shit, on a per minute basis, he was fine. I guess we're going to assume Garrison Matthews just plays today and he gets a little bit of run. Now, I'm going to pull the rates again just to confirm it for everybody on the stream because I assume Houston is going to look really good to me. Sacramento's defense is awful, and the pace of this matchup and the total is 240. So we're going to say in games where Kevin Porter Jr. did not play, and we're going to say in games where Jalen Green and Alperen Şengün both started, because those are the real key pieces that we're talking about here. And we've got a lot of games now with KPJ out. I mean, they have played now. This is a 10-game sample with Jalen Green and Şengün starting without KPJ around. Jalen Green has a 28.7% usage rate. I'm going to bump him up a little bit. Şengün's at 21.9, and he's normally a 22% usage guy. So I'm just leaving him in at his normal 22. That's where he is. Eric Gordon's at 19. That's standard. Jabari Smith. 237 minutes in those 10 games, 21% usage rate. I believe it. I believe it at 21. And then Kmart at 15 and a half. Yeah. Eric, I don't know if you're trolling me or not now, but no, he wouldn't. Alrighty. From an assist rate perspective, Şengün's assist rate is much higher than what I have it in for right now. I'll try to be a little bit more pessimistic, I guess. Eric Gordon actually sees a massive jump in his assist rate. Jabari Smith sees an increase. I'm not going to give it to him because it's not big. And then Kmart, not really his bag. Finally, rebounding. 10.4 on Alperen Şengün, so I don't have to move that. Eric Gordon's not a guy that we got to really worry about for rebounds. Jabari Smith. Okay, Jabari Smith can come down a bit. Jalen Green, not really grabbing a ton of boards. Kenyon Martin, grabbing some boards. We looked at Sacramento already. So for Houston, I love Alperen Şengün at 8,400. I don't know how you project him lower than this. I looked at the rates of what he's done with no KPJ. If you project him for those rates and for this game environment, he's exceptional. 8,400, 5.6x his salary, massive boom score. I also want to get to Jalen Green at 6,800, and I want to get to Jabari Smith at 5,200. I did all of this stuff on Monday. I feel okay here. I don't see anything that I would naturally want to change. They just simply look good. Eric Gordon's okay, but Şengün, Jalen Green, and Jabari Smith are literal priorities to me. We saw Alperen Şengün pull like 3% ownership on this slate on Monday. I thought that was wrong. I had a ton. It did not work out. But let's be clear here. He looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I don't see a scenario where you would want to go to Domantas Sabonis at 10-3 when you can get Alperen Şengün at 8,400. I think Alperen Şengün is unequivocally a better option today. Not close. I don't really love anything from the Kings other than like if you just want to play a bunch of Sacramento or if you just want to play a bunch of Houston. Now, Sabonis for 9,500 on FanDuel with power forward, that's a spot you need to get him a bit. But Sabonis and Fox are fine. It's the Houston side that I like more. Anxious to talk to Adam about that on the strategy show to see if he's seeing what I'm seeing, because I think Şengün is just criminally underrated for today. And I assume he's part of my prize picks video. We went 3-1 on my prize picks video yesterday. Unfortunately, we lost Jamal Murray because of the scratch. But we're up to 6-3 in all the picks that I've given out on the prize picks video so far. If you're picking 60% winners on prize picks, you are going to print money. So make sure you're tailing this. Take away everything I'm giving you. Get rid of the one that you hate the most. Swap it out. You're going to be in good shape. Let's go. 2 games to go. Dallas Mavericks 7-point dogs in LA. 220 total. We're going to be getting Kyrie, so that's going to be a disaster. What really sucks is that we don't get Luka. No Maxi Kleber, who should be back after the All-Star break. Ntilikina questionable. No Bertans. Markieff Morris also available. So this should be a real treat. And it really sucks that Luka's not healthy. Like, that's a really annoying way to do this. You know that Kyrie is going to give you like a real Kyrie game. There aren't many guys that I think can like play up to what they want it to be. And Kyrie is certainly one of those dudes. I think he's just going to come straight in and play 36 minutes. And then I think that we're going to get Tim Hardaway Jr. in for 35. I think Josh Green is going straight in for 33. We're going to get Dwight Powell playing his pretty normal 28 at this point. And then I assume Christian Wood is going to be the backup center Christian Wood played 19 in his return on Monday. What happened there? 2-6 Dallas, won by 13. Wood came off the bench. Pretty standard rotations. Didn't close. Was minus 16. Okay, sure. Sure. Did I skip the Minnesota-Utah game? Holy shit, I did. And I marked it off too. Whatever. We'll get through Dallas first. I guess I didn't notice that I marked off Sacramento and Houston twice. I guess we'll go 28 minutes to Christian Wood. I don't think that what we just saw is going to be like a long-term decision point. Now, I mean, no Dorian Finney-Smith is wild stuff. So wild. All right, we know that we're going to get big minutes out of Reggie Bullock. So let's get him in for 33. Probably still look like shit. I'm going to say that McKinley Wright ends up being the backup point guard. We can get like 24 minutes out of Jaden Hardy. And then that leaves me 11 minutes for AJ Lawson, Theo Pinson. Doesn't really matter which guy we give it to. Rates are going to be a very interesting experience here. I mean, Sean, if we want to be really technical, he's always the 3. But that's a very... It's why no one should look at DVP. Because position is relative. Most people are going to be like, well, Luka's a point guard. And it's like, well, is he? What makes us say that? The assist rate? Does that make Jokic a point guard then? Well, no, because he's tall. Well, Luka's tall-ish. So it's one of those things. I don't have a damn clue what to do with rates here. So what I'm going to do is just take Luka Doncic off the floor. And the first guy that we're going to take a look at is Dinwiddie. 704 minutes with Luka off the floor. 30% usage rate for Dinwiddie. I'm just giving that straight 30% usage rate to Kyrie Irving. We've also seen Christian Wood have a 30% usage rate with no Luka. I'm going to keep both of those guys at 30. And I'm just going to say that Kyrie Irving is essentially Spencer Dinwiddie when Luka's not around. For today, at least. Where that gets me, I don't know. Jaden Hardy's going to be massive usage off the bench. Josh Green is going to be not massive usage off the bench. Reggie Bullock is going to be not massive usage anywhere. Tim Hardaway Jr., much lower usage rate in this iteration. We'll get him down to 25. That all seems about right. I'm not going to touch Kyrie's assist rate. Dinwiddie actually got a bunch more, but I'm just going to assume Kyrie is himself from an assist perspective. Although, I guess I could just look and see what is Kyrie's assist rate when Kevin Durant is off the floor. It does get a little bit of a bump, so we'll give him that bumpski. I'm not really going to change any other rates here, so that's going to be Dallas. Let's just finish off the Clippers, and then we'll work our way back to Minnesota, Utah. Man, I thought I was making good time, and then now I realize that I'm not. We'll go to the Clippers. Again, Clippers are 7-point favorites in this one. Only John Wall is out. He's working his way back. They should trade him because he stinks. For the Clippers, so we got Luke Kennard back in the rotation. Now, I don't know if that's just because Marcus Morris got the gate or not. So let's find out when he checked in. Kennard checked in early, actually. Kennard was the second guy off the bench, obviously. We got Reggie Jackson starting the third quarter over the ejected Marcus Morris. But now we could feel a little bit better about projecting these minutes because they've got a 9-man rotation. I think Luke Kennard is there to stay, and he should be. He should be. So I think we're going to get like 26 minutes out of Terrence Mann. We ended up getting 26 minutes out of Reggie Jackson. I'm just going to say that he gets the backup point guard run. Norm Powell in for 30. Feels about right, but I'm going to make it 29. 37 for Paul George for sure. 37 for Kawhi for sure. 29 for Ivica Zubac works. I've got Marcus Morris in for 30. I'm making that 29 as well. And then we've got Nick Batum in for 24. I think that fits. That gives me 7 for Luke Kennard. Best I can do. Rates don't have to change. So for the Clippers, I think the only guys you're really going to play are Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And the standard, Adam and I should get t-shirts made of this. You can play Ivica Zubac if you want. Sometimes he's going to play 38 minutes and you're going to want to have him. $8,400 Paul George on FanDuel is a joke, by the way. On Dallas. They priced Kyrie up. He's $10,600 on DraftKings, and I don't see it. I really don't see it. What is Kyrie's usage rate when Durant has been off the floor? 33. All right, so I'll give him a little bit more of a bump. We'll take Kyrie to 32% usage. But I think he's going to be more involved from an assist perspective. I think he's going to try and be a nice guy. Jaden Hardy in 24 minutes is probably the best value here. I think Dallas looks awful. I don't really see a scenario where you're trying to get to anything from Dallas other than maybe Jaden Hardy. And even then, like, I don't know how much I like Jaden Hardy. Okay, back to Minnesota, Utah. Now, Minnesota is going to be on a back-to-back in Utah here. And we got, I mean, I really don't think that Rudy Gobert is going to play tonight. Even though it is revenge narrative into Utah. This is a dude that's played 26, 18, and 18 minutes in the past 3. Missed the game before that. To me, we're going to get a Naz Reid day. And last night, we got a Naz Reid starting day, which is also just truly bonkers to think about. I guess we assume that Kyle Anderson is just going to be back for today. This is just a really bad spot all around. It's hard to project. It's a late-ish game. We're not going to have this information. They got embarrassed last night by the Nuggets. I mean, they got it put on them real bad. So Naz Reid just didn't even play in the second half, even though he was the least problematic part of the first half. I mean, they basically they gave the starters one shot at the beginning of the third and put them all on ice. Now, Gobert played 15 minutes in the first half. I guess all that we can do right now is just project Kyle Anderson in for his 30 minutes. Take Taurean Prince down to his 21 or 22. Matt Ryan's minutes just go away. Daniel stays the same. Russell stays the same. I think Jalen Noel comes down to 18. And then Naz Reid just doesn't start. And you get like random 4 minutes for Matt Ryan. Our rates don't have to change here. I'm not making any wide assumptions about Kyle Anderson. So this is where we stand for right now. I think that we're going to end up not getting Rudy Gobert today. Hannah, you are right. Gobert has not played more than 27 minutes in a while, but he played 15 minutes in the first half yesterday. And in theory, had a little bit more to play. I mean, they ran weird rotations. Like Anthony Edwards said, it was just an ass beating. But if he can play 15 minutes in the first half, he can play 32 for the game. That said, just based on his health, like I'm not confident he can run a back-to-back right now. Anyway, that's going to be Minnesota. Easy team to look at. We then go to Utah. Utah Jazz. Probably going to reproject this rotation quickly. I think it's going to be a little bit easier. We're going to get Mike Conley in for his very obvious 30 minutes. We'll get Colin Sexton in for 22. Lets us get Jordan Clarkson in for 31. We get Walker Kessler starting, playing, I don't know, 25 minutes. Something like that. Feels about right. We did not get Jared Vanderbilt on Monday. I am going to assume that we do get Jared Vanderbilt for today, unless he's already out, at which point then I won't assume that. Nope, Q-tag on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has been playing relatively limited minutes in comparison to where he was earlier. So let's get Vanderbilt in for 20, I guess. And then we could say that Kelly Olynyk, who played 28 minutes again, I think he's live to just be playing 28 minutes here. I'm going to get Rudy Gay in for 12. I think that lets me get Markkanen in for 35. Probably going to look decent here. Malik Beasley. Minutes are starting to come down here for the Bees. I can get him in for 24. Leaves me 13 for Akbaji, which is what he played last time out. That will work for me. Kessler, Azubuike. So they played like 12 minutes of Kelly Olynyk at center, I guess. Interesting. All right, well, that's Utah. Clearly, we're not making any rate changes. So, Kelly Olynyk is pretty clearly the best option from Utah. 4,700 power forward center. I think Walker Kessler's fine at 5,700. These guys have just stabilized their prices, so it's kind of tricky. By the way, 180 people in here. Hit that like button. We're only at 80, so 92 right now would be the halfway point of viewers. No, there's no reason we can't get to up to 100. All right, so that's Utah. For Minnesota, assuming they're at full strength, Kyle Anderson is the best play at 5K. Gobert at 6,700 is certainly worth a look. Scary. Edwards, Russell, McDaniels, flip a coin. Take your best shot there. I actually do want to take a minute away from McDaniels. He should be at 31 today, not 32. I gave him an extra minute yesterday when Anderson went out. Now, final game, Golden State Warriors, 3.5-point dogs in Portland. Not safe for work. 234 total here. Unfortunately for us, we've got no Steph for a while. We did see that the last time out. Everybody else was in. We did get 22 minutes out of Kevon Looney. I do want to see how that looked, because they beat the piss out of the Thunder. Wait. Is that their real starting lineup? Did they change their starting lineup and I didn't notice? Holy shit, they did. I did not see. When did they announce that it wasn't Looney starting? I'm not looking at this wrong, right? They started Kuminga? Huh. I assumed it was Looney. Okay. Well, I like that they're starting Kuminga. I assume they're going to start him again. Wouldn't make a ton of sense otherwise. We got, big time run out of Poole. Poole was at 26 minutes through 3 quarters. I got him in for 35 here. That's fine. 35 for Clay, 28 for DiVincenzo. I guess I'm going to bring Looney down if he's going to come off the bench. We'll get him to 21, I guess. And then Kuminga started and played 22. Closed in the blowout, which makes very little sense. I mean, we're bumping his minutes at least a little. I'm going to say 24. 14 for JaMychal Green. Moses Moody was actually a part of the rotation as well. I didn't really expect that. I think that's just what we're going to go with. Rates all stay the same here. No real changes for Golden State, oddly enough, other than bumping Kuminga. Right, Ross, that's what I'm saying. And, like, it just made sense. Like, their defense was a problem. Like, look, I don't mind starting. It doesn't make much of a difference. And if you want to say that you do that against OKC, like, I get it. They don't have a center. I mean, you can do it again today here against Drew Eubanks. So let's handle Portland. Look, if Looney starts, I think he's interesting because it just opens up the opportunity for him to just play like a normal starter and play 28 minutes. We close it out with Portland. No Nurk, no Winslow, Drew Eubanks, probable. 26 minutes for Eubanks, 22 for Watford, 38 for Dame. Yeah, 36 for Simons, 33 for Josh Hart, 35 for Jeremy Grant. All this looks fine. We know what we're doing here. Portland's the easiest team to project, and boy, oh boy, do they look good. Because let's not forget, Golden State's not all that good with no Steph. They're the second fastest team in the league. Portland's 24th. Lillard, Simons, Grant, Hart, Eubanks. Jam all of these dudes for today. They look like a slightly less... Portland and Toronto are like 2A and 2B behind Miami. But those three teams, unequivocally the best options for today. Not even close. Trendon Watford works as a value option off the bench if you want it. For Golden State, 7,100 for Poole. This price is not correct. Play all of the Jordan Poole you can get to. They did not raise this price the way that they should have. I think 6K Wiggins is okay. I think $3,800 Kuminga is worth a dice roll. But Jordan Poole, probably going to be the most popular play of the day, unless you get something from Miami. But Poole's just not right at 7,100. He's a different play. He's a 33% usage guy without Curry out there. This is a different play. He's going to be like 8,500 in a game or two. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right. 9 games up, 9 games down. We need to run some crunches, find out some optimals. So let's go ahead and do that. FanDuel optimal to start. We know the drill here. Thank you guys for being here. Up to 190 people. It's a good show, folks. It's a good show. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you guys a little bit about BetMGM. They are the sponsor of this video. If you click the link in the description or scan the QR code that is on the screen, you can get 1 free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. That gets you in the door. Free month. Can't beat that. And you get first bet insurance up to $1,000. You got to use the promo code Platinum Sub here. Got to make a minimum deposit of $10. So you can get basically a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum for $10 if you want that to be your minimum. My recommendation, if money's like an object, because if you can't get up to the 1,000, you should put the 1,000 in. That's the best thing you can do. If money's a bit of an issue, my recommendation is this. Take the cost of our 1-month subscription that you would pay to have it and use that as your deposit into BetMGM. That way you get a free month of Stokastic. You get about $120 in your bankroll. You put that first bet down on an underdog. So then if it wins, you're going to have like $250 plus in cash in your account that you can do anything with. If you want to take that money back out, by all means, do it. If it loses, they give you that $120 bet back in bonus bets so that you're made whole once again. So you get 2 shots basically at a first bet and a free month of Stokastic. To me, that's the best way to do it. You got to be 21 or over. Please be responsible. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, crunch time. We have first one, FanDuel Optimals. feels like it's going to be pretty balanced. Only 3 guys projected north of 50. One of them is Embiid, who I didn't think was like the most efficient play to begin with. Pay up options on this slate are kind of tricky. Embiid, Tatum, Kawhi, and Dame are the only 10K plus guys, and really only Dame looks good. Optimal lineup, no surprises for what we're seeing here. Jordan Poole, Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, Gary Trent, Josh Hart, Scotty Barnes, Drew Eubanks, Bam Adebayo, Alperen Şengün. So you're getting 3 centers. You're getting all of that Heat value. You're getting the Raptors value. You're getting the Josh Hart Blazers value, and you get the no doubt about it play in Jordan Poole. 326-11. It's the optimal lineup by 0.96. No surprises. Second lineup brings in more guys. You see Kyle Anderson show up in the third lineup and Trey Jones show up in the third lineup, but we knew exactly what this was going to look like from a team construction perspective. And it makes perfect sense. Now we're going to see it on the power rankings, where it's just going to be loaded with Raptors and Heat dudes at the top, especially when we get to DraftKings. FanDuel might be a little bit different, but let's check it all out. Man, if I could have finished this up 5 minutes earlier, I would have got that extra stand goal here. If only I had a standing desk, which I should just buy. FanDuel power rankings. Gabe Vincent, number 1. Gary Trent, 2. Pretty unequivocally as well. Bam Adebayo, Jordan Poole, Alperen Şengün. And then it's Tyler Hero, Anthony Simons, PJ Washington, Trey Jones, and Fred VanVleet. By the way, we got another 35 minutes and 30 fantasy points out of Anthony Simons. Same price as normal. Only took 5 threes. When this dude shoots like 10 threes, you never know what you're going to end up getting. All righty. We go to DraftKings. DraftKings Optimal. We know what we're going to see here. It's just a matter of which pieces fit best together, but we know what teams they're coming from. Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, Max Strus, Jabari Smith, Bam Adebayo, Jordan Poole, Kelly Olynyk, Alperen Şengün. No Blazers, which is interesting, but they're going to show up pretty heavily. And no Raptors either. But they will show up heavily in the power rankings. 285-66. That's the optimal lineup by 0.29. Power rankings. Here we go. Oh boy, please don't be Haywood Highsmith. All right, Jordan Poole looking like he's going to be at the top here. But we know exactly what this list is going to be. Jordan Poole is number 1. It is not close. You should not be surprised. It's looking like Gary Trent going to come in at the 2 spot. Gabe Vincent trying to run him down. Gabe Vincent does run him down. Jordan Poole 1, Gabe Vincent 2, Gary Trent 3, Tyler Hero 4, Bam Adebayo 5. Josh Hart, Anthony Simons, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Haywood Highsmith rounded out, but Butler, Şengün, VanVleet, Eubanks, Martin, Lillard, Precious. It's all there, guys. We know these plays. Jordan Poole is the guy you want the most on DraftKings for today. And boom, another one in the books. Thank you guys for joining me. Prize Picks video coming out shortly. NBA Contenders coming up shortly. I'll be on the strategy show with Adam at 10 o'clock. Good luck to everybody here. Keep your eyes peeled for tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be around or not. It is my dinner night, so we shall see. But keep your eyes peeled to my Twitter at Josh Engleman. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for being here. Good luck. Whoops.